Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Let's Talk Donation with Gift of Hope. I am your host, Olivia Fox, and as I mention every week, I am a community outreach specialist for Gift of Hope. This is going to be an interactive show where you can call in and ask us any questions that you have regarding organ and tissue donation. You might see our cool setup here. That's a little hint about who our guest is for tonight. So like I said, this is a call-in show. You can ask us any questions that you might have about the things that we're talking about or any questions organ and tissue donation. If you aren't watching us on Channel 21, tell all of your family and friends to stream us live on cantv.org/hotline. Again, that's cantv.org/hotline. And then finally, our number that you can call in and talk to us at is right on the screen. It's 312-738-1060. Again, that's 312-738-1060. Call us for any of your questions. We are Gift of Hope Organ and Tissue Donor Network. Here you'll find our website, and our call to action, as it is every week, is to register as an organ donor if you have not already on your driver's license. If you have not said yes to be an organ donor on your driver's license, it takes 30 seconds. Go on over to giftofhope.org where you can say, yes, I want to be an organ donor, and really leave a lasting legacy on this earth when God chooses that it's your time to go. I want to start this evening actually with a little video to introduce our guest. So let me go ahead and turn it on.
Nikki's donations made a huge impact on a lot of people. This one right here, sitting next to me especially. When Gift of Hope came to me and asked me for the donation, it made me feel very confident knowing that I can give my baby's heart. This is Nikki's heart beating inside Tanisha's chest.
So when I heard this pounding, like, what is that noise? And the nurse said to me, that's your heart.
I carried Nikki for 9 months. Now Tanisha's gonna carry her the rest of her life. Say yes to donation. Start the conversation with your loved ones today.
So that introduces my guest for this evening. Tonight we have donor mom and Gift of Hope ambassador, actually one of my favorite Gift of Hope ambassadors. Don't tell the others, but you are definitely one of my favorites to work with, Miss Vickey Olds. So that commercial is called Lasting Legacy, and many of you might have seen it on all the TV commercials or on all the different TV channels in Illinois, talking a little bit about Vickey's story and a little bit about the gift that her daughter has left on this earth, and the gift that she was able to give their very close family friend, which was a heart. So thank you for being here tonight, Miss Vickey.
Thank you for having me.
Here.
Thank you, honey. Thank you for having me.
Great. So let's start off by telling a little bit more of your story and letting everybody know who Nikki was and kind of what brought you to Gift of Hope.
Okay, almost 2.5 years ago, Nikki was involved in an accidental drowning. And, of course, when we were sent to the hospital, we had all family and friends there for about 4.5 days. And unfortunately, the worst day of my life, June 1st, was when I was told that she was brain dead. And after we were told that, we were brought into a room with the Gift of Hope staff. And I had already made the decision, and she and I had already had the conversation. But being with the staff made that decision so much easier. Marion, Shook, and Jack were just so great to us, and they answered all of our questions. There was no dumb question, and they made me feel very comfortable and having already made that decision. So when they asked us, which I loved, was, is there anybody that you know personally that needs an organ? And I thought of Tanisha instantly. I've known her sister and her family for over 38 years. Her sister and I are best friends. And she was my first thought because she had gone into congestive heart failure and had actually coded 3 times. Wow. So I got her information from her sister. She was there, and we got her tested, and I found out the next morning that she was 100% match.
Wow. And
you know, that's rare. That's the 1 in a million chance that you could be 100% match. You could be a family member and not be 100% match. So she was our first choice, and then my husband has a friend, Zach, who needed a kidney. He was on kidney dialysis for 4.5 years. We got him tested, and he was also 100% match.
Wow.
So we had 2 direct donations out of the 5 lives that Nikki saved.
Wow. What a blessing. So, our viewers a couple weeks ago heard my mom's story, and that is a similar story of directed donation. And I think that it's really important for us to understand that that's why it's so important for us to have these conversations with our families, not only about our wishes, for when we move on, but also when we're sick, the illnesses that we're going through, and understanding what illnesses can be really kind of cured through organ donation. So in Tanisha's case, she wouldn't have been able to leave that hospital without a heart. So if it wasn't for Nikki, Tanisha probably wouldn't have walked out of that hospital.
She wouldn't have.
So I think that's really important for people to understand. That's also why our call to action every week. You mentioned that you and Nikki, even though she was only 18 years old, you mentioned that you and Nikki had that conversation about her want to be an organ donor, and yours as well too, if something were to happen to you, because of course we don't know either
Right.
way who's going to go first, but making sure that that your loved ones know what your wishes are, since we have no control over that, is very important. So that's why we ask everyone to register yourself on your driver's license. That's one less thing that your family has to worry about and decide if you wanted to do or not, or argue about if you wanted to do or not. So maybe if you can talk a little bit about, in the commercial we saw that you hear Nikki's heartbeat through Tanisha. So we actually have a kind of cool display, as I mentioned, on our desk tonight. So we have Tanisha represented. Hey Tanisha! She's actually on one of the Gift of Hope brochures. So if you've ever seen us out in the community, you have seen Tanisha's beautiful face and beautiful smile.
Yes.
And then on the other side of the desk, we have the beautiful angel and hero, Miss Nikki.
Yes, that's my baby.
And that is, you told me her senior picture, and
Yes.
she looks like a model actress, the actress that she
The
was.
actress that she was, yes.
So that
yes.
is beautiful to look at, and we really appreciate that you always have those items to share with us and show us. So you want to talk a little bit about the bear?
Yes. Nikki was actually my 30th birthday present. We were 5 days apart. We were both Leos. She was born August the 2nd, and I'm born August the 7th. So I always told her she was my 30th birthday present. So this year, Tanisha gave me this along with the pillow, because every time I'm with her, I always lay my head on her chest to hear Nikki's heartbeat. And the last time I was with her before our birthdays, I couldn't hear Nikki's heartbeat, and Tanisha felt really bad about that. So the next time she went for her echogram, she had a recording done of Nikki's heartbeat, and then she saw this teddy bear on TV, and she was like, that is an amazing gift. I'm going to have to do that for her. So she gave me this gift a week before my birthday and Nikki's birthday. And when she gave me the pillow, it was all of my favorite pictures of Nikki on the pillow, and I was in tears when I saw that. And then she said, well, that's not just your gift, it's something else. So when I saw the teddy bear, it's got Nikki's name on it, I was like, oh, that is just the cutest thing. And she's like, that's not it. I'm like, well, what, does it talk or something? And she's like, no, push the button. So when you push the button,
You can hear Tanisha's heart, which is Nikki's heart.
you can hear her heart beating.
Wow. What a special gift. What a special gift. So, hey, Tanisha, if you're out there watching, hey, girl.
Hey, honey. Hey, sis.
We see you. Well, we hope you see us. So, what a blessing that that connection was able to happen. And we also had a caller a couple weeks ago that wanted to know if you could kind of put a name on organs. And I told him that you couldn't put names on organs, but as we mentioned, having the conversation with your family and friends and loved ones, and then also being aware of the need in your community and your loved ones that are in need and waiting. Encourage them to stay healthy, encourage them to be on the list, encourage them to do everything that they need to do to remain a compliant patient. So when that time does come, when that gift does come, if a family finds themselves in a tragic situation, they will be able to think of you in your time of need, just like Vickey was able to think of Tanisha and her husband was able to think of his client. So we're so grateful for that. Me, as a recipient family, I'm so grateful for donor families like you. So thank you for everything that you do. Vickey works with us all the time, and being out at different events and sharing her and Nikki's story, because we found at Gift of Hope and in the Community Affairs Department that people really connect with stories of people that look like them. I mean, people that are 18 years old might not think that they would be affected by either being a donor or being in need. So it's really, really important for us to share these stories. And even when you're not with me, I shared Nikki's story and your story about how she was able to leave a legacy here on this earth and really turn tragedy. We always talk about this, turning a tragedy into a triumph. That's what organ donation is. Organ donation only comes from about 8% of all deaths. So we wonder why there's such a long list. Well, that's because not every case of death is able to end in organ donation, and that's why it's really important for us to utilize that resource when we know it's available. So it looks like we had a caller coming in. Let's get that caller on through. How's it going? Let's talk donation with Gift of Hope. What's your question?
Hi, my question is are there only specific organs that can be donated? Donated. I'm specifically asking about bone marrow.
Yes. So there are specific organs that can be donated. Pancreas, liver, 2 lungs, 2 kidneys, and heart can be donated. There's also, we talk about organ, eye, and tissue donation. So eye and tissue donation, eye donation would be corneal donation, which restores people's sight, and then tissue donation, which is actually not bone marrow. Bone marrow is handled by Be the Match. All over the country. So it's not Gift of Hope that handles bone marrow, but we do handle it. What we do handle is tissue, which is actual bone matter. So if you've ever known of anyone getting a hip replacement, or I had a friend in high school that had childhood cancer, and his femur shattered, and they were able to save his leg and not amputate his leg because they were able to put a donor femur in his leg and give him a regular life going on. So Gift of Hope, to answer your question, Gift of Hope does not handle bone marrow donation. That would be the Match. But Gift of Hope handles organ, eye, and tissue donation. Tissue also includes vessels, veins, soft tissue, skin. Skin is a big one. If you've ever heard of children or firefighters getting burned and needing skin, that comes through tissue donation, which goes through Gift of Hope as well. So thank you so much for that question. That's a great one. So as we mentioned with Nikki's story, she was able to save 5 lives, am I correct, with her organs. So that is really amazing. A lot of people wonder if they have an illness or if something is wrong with them, will they still be able to be registered as an organ donor? I think it's really important for everyone to understand, yes, register as an organ donor. If you have illness that affects one organ, other organs can still be used. So Nikki was a blessing in order to be able to give out that, to share that many organs and leave that many organs. But not every case is that case that you'll be able to leave 5. But any is really a gift and leaves a legacy here on this earth, and again turns tragedy to triumph. It really gives your family someone to look at and see doing good things out in the world, in the community, and realize that their loved ones living was not in vain, and it has not gone to waste, that it is still being utilized, and it is doing great things. Because I know Tanisha is out here really sharing the mission of Gift of Hope and
Definitely.
working with you and sharing the mission of organ and tissue donation. I think that's really important. So I just want to let everyone see our website again. Our website is giftofhope.org. If you want to register as an organ donor, which is our call to action tonight and every night, please register on giftofhope.org. So it looks like we have another caller coming on through. Let's talk donation with Gift of Hope. What's your question?
Hi, Olivia. This is Monica.
Hey, Mom. Hi, Monica.
Hi. I just want to say 2 things. Olivia, I'm really proud of you. You're doing a great job. And Vicky,
Thanks, Mom.
I think it's really important for you to share with the people why you do what you do for Gift of Hope by being an ambassador, volunteering, and sharing your story. Because as a transplant recipient, I do it because I'm so grateful for the gift that I received. And I'm really grateful for you and the gift that you gave, the selfless gift that you gave. But I think it's important to share why you do what you do.
Thank you so much for that question, Mom. That is a perfect question to ask Miss Vicky.
I do what I do to continue on Nikki's legacy. The fact that I lost her and she was my only child was completely devastated. But being able to educate our community and just, change people's lives and let people know that how important it is, because if you were on the receiving end, such as your mom was, anybody's on that end would want their family member to be, to receive an organ. But if you don't register and you don't get out there, you don't have a conversation, you can't be a recipient or you can't really be a donor. So my goal right now as an ambassador is to make sure all of our community knows what Gift of Hope does, the wonderful people that they are. Because like I said, if it hadn't been for Jack and Marion being the kind of people that they were and being encouraging and loving, it wouldn't have made my decision. It would have made it a lot harder, but because of the people that they are and Gift of Hope people, how we all are as ambassadors.
Yes, because we're all a family,
We're
right?
all the family. We are definitely family now, and you can't get rid of any of us now.
No
but
way.
It's just the fact that it made me a lot more comfortable making that decision. And I think our whole community needs to know what Gift of Hope is about and what it entails, and to discourage all those lies that people hear about, if stars get the organs first. That's not the truth, because if that's the case, Vanity wouldn't have died a few years ago. She was waiting for a kidney. She'd been on a kidney list for several years. So we just need to, dispel all those misconceptions. And that's part of my job as being an ambassador, making sure that our community knows what it's about, how to get signed up, what it entails, and know that you are part of a lasting legacy, you're part of a community, you're part of a family once you are a donor or a recipient, and this is a family that's never going anywhere. So this is my job now to move forward and make sure we as a community know exactly what's going on and how easy it is to become a donor and how easy it is to become part of our family, because this is family.
We are definitely a family. And it looks like we have another caller coming through. Let's talk donation with Gift of Hope. What's your question?
Yes, I wanted to say, first of all, I think what you're doing is extremely important. We can't get this message across to enough people. We live in Chicago, and we know how violent a city this is, setting aside all of the people who need donations as a result of medical needs that have nothing to do with the violence, just simply because of medical conditions and so forth. And it's important for people to recognize that unless we have a broad cross-section of donors, that there are going to be people from various groups, ethnic and racial and whatnot, that may not find compatible donors. So it's essential that we have a large number of Latino and African American and Asian as well as Caucasian donors, because otherwise you're not going to have the likelihood of finding a compatible donor when you need one. So it's easy for all of us to want that kidney when we need it, but we need to think about, when we're gone, we're gone. You don't need your kidney. It's not going with you to the next world.
Exactly.
So give it to someone else and give everything else to someone else if you can, and let them enjoy the gift of life that you no longer have.
Exactly.
Wow, thank you so much for that comment. All of those points are very, very on target with our message. And I mean, just like you said, there's so much need in all of our different communities, and especially the minority communities. I think it's really something that we talk a lot about in minority communities, because as Vicky mentioned, Nikki was a 100% match for 2 directed donations. And sometimes family members aren't even 100% matches. But it's important for us to understand that people of your ethnicity are going to have a closer DNA match than someone that's of a different ethnicity. So that is a really important part of us understanding, kind of taking advantage of this for our own community. If I know that a person that looks like me, is a good chance that if something happens to me, my parts will be used and used well and will be 100% match in someone else that looks like me. Why not? We talk about supporting our communities. A lot of time in the Black community, you hear about supporting Black businesses and, supporting our communities. So we just need to continue to do that in every way possible, in life and in death. We need to understand the value that our lives have, even once God chooses that it's our soul is time to be with Him, that we can really leave a legacy on on this earth, and save a life. So if anybody has any thoughts or memories about Nikki, please call in and share those. We would love to hear them. I know some of her friends and family are watching, so feel free to call in with any memories or thoughts about Nikki. We love to honor her on tonight. And then also, if you have any other questions about organ and tissue donation, please call in and ask us. As I mentioned, Vicky has been working with Gift of Hope longer than I've actually been employed, so we are both, subject matter experts and can answer answer all questions that you have. And then, of course, our call to action tonight and every Tuesday is please register as an organ donor. Please register yourself as an organ donor. If you have not already said yes at the DMV when you went to renew your driver's license, go on over to giftofhope.org. It takes 30 seconds. That way it won't even be printed on your license, but you will be added to the registry. If for some reason there is a reason why you don't want it listed on your license, go on over to giftofhope.org and register as an organ donor. It's a gift that you're leaving your family. It's a legacy that you will leave on this earth once it's your time to go, just like Nikki was able to do. And she is an angel that's watching over us and also still walking on this earth.
Yes.
And Tanisha is walking, and Zach is walking, and many other people, even more than 5 people, because with tissue donation, you can go on to save hundreds of people, because as I mentioned, that's skin, that's bones, that's veins. When people have open heart surgeries and get, when they have blockages and things like that, we don't even realize that, medical professionals have to use these things during these surgeries. They have to use this matter during these surgeries to make this stuff happen and to increase people's quality of life and really enhance people's quality of life, just the way Nikki was able to. So before we head out, if you can share a couple of other places where you've shared your story and kind of things that you're doing in Nikki's honor, so that if anybody that has heard this story and wants to learn more about how to be involved, they can do that. Can you share that with us?
Yes. Actually, I've been somewhere everywhere in the last 2.5 years with Gift of Hope. Since the commercial airs, I've had actually quite a few speaking engagements. But since Nikki's passing, myself and 2 of her youth members actually started a foundation in her honor. It's called the Smile for Nikki Foundation, and it's a performing arts foundation, and it's geared towards kids ages 6 to 13. And they're being taught acting, dancing, and singing lessons by professionals. We are partnered with the Chicago Heights Park District. This was our 2nd year. We completed that back on August the 13th, and we're moving into our 3rd year.
Wow, that's awesome.
This is something that's going to be a long-lasting legacy for her. And I've also, I am now an author. I wrote her story in a collaborative book project with 11 other women. I told her story. So I'm just trying to keep myself focused, keep her legacy going, and make an impact on the world since she's left in her honor and her legacy.
Wow, you are really an inspiration.
Thank you.
I appreciate working with you. I appreciate you continuing to share your story.
Thank you.
And teaching me how to work in this industry and with Gift of Hope. I'm so happy to have met you and to have you as my guest tonight. So thanks for coming.
Thank you for
and
having me.
As I mentioned before, our call to action is for everyone to register as an organ donor. Also, if you want any information about the Smile for Nikki Foundation, send me an email at ofox@giftofhope.org, and I will get you connected with Miss Vickey. If you live out in the Chicago Heights area, if you're interested in dance or teaching dance to young kids, send me an email at giftofhope.org, and I will definitely get you connected with that foundation that is doing some excellent, excellent things in Nikki's honor and for the youth. So that's going to be it for tonight's episode of Let's Talk Donation. Thank you to all of our callers that called in with some awesome questions, especially my mom.
Yes, thank you, Monica.
And we will see you guys next week on Let's Talk Donation with Gift of Hope. Have a great week, everyone. And thanks again, Vickey.
Thank you, honey.
Have a good one, everyone.